Right now, I'm wearing my pajamas. And Colin's wearing his matching pajamas. And that's all I'll say about it. Hello Vogue, I'm Scarlett Johansson, and today I am looking at my life in looks. Aw, how cute. This is the premiere of Manny and Lo. I am probably 10 or 11, mid-90s in New York. I am wearing a vintage dress. I know that's a vintage sweater. I loved that sweater. I lived close to a vintage store in the Village on Bleecker Street that was called Dorothy's Closet. It was an adult clothing store, obviously. But the guy that had the store, I would come in there and he would put aside vintage kids' clothes for me. I had been acting professionally for, since I was about seven and a half. Manny and Lo was the first leading role that I ever had. I just loved working every day like I was living my dream. I think this look is very now. I would wear it today. This is me and Thora Birch. We are in Ghost World. That is based on the comic book by Daniel Clowes. Terry Zwigoff directed this, and we are looking with disdain at probably someone very basic. I think I'm 15. The costume designer of this, I believe, was Mary Zofries. She's a genius. She works with the Coen brothers a lot, so I worked with her subsequently. We did Iron Man 2 together, and we also did Hail Caesar together. And she's fantastic. If I remember, this skirt was from Banana Republic. It looks like it's from Banana Republic. My style at this time, I'm gonna guess Jenkos. Very, very, very wide leg jeans, and probably like a shirt from Fiorucci. Imitation of Christ. It's like a guerrilla fashion movement that my brilliant friend Tara Subkoff was her baby. I would model for them sometimes. I am probably 19. I am wearing a vintage tennis skirt, Converse obviously, my classic Converse, and I'm wearing a pair of Victorian bangles that my dad got me, I think for my birthday or Christmas, and I'm also wearing a mullet. My goal here was David Bowie meets Silkwood, and I think I've achieved it. It was a terrible grow out, as you can imagine. This is Bill Murray and I in Lost in Translation. I am wearing a pink wig. This image has kind of become an iconic one, but when you're doing something like this at the time, it didn't, you're just in the middle of it. It was like, hey, want to wear a wig? Sure. Sofia Coppola liked this light pink one. Sophia has her own style, obviously, and so my character's look is based on her style a bit. Some of the clothes we were wearing were some of her clothes. I think a lot of the stuff I was wearing was like APC, Agnes B, and like those kind of Frenchy brands. I don't know if I have a favorite costume, but I remember the opening first two lines was like a woman's behind in sheer pink underwear. Luckily I was that age, so I was just like, yeah, sure, put the sheer pink underwear on me. Now, probably not as much. Would probably have second thoughts about the sheer pink underwear. For a long time, we didn't know if Bill was going to show up when we started shooting it because he's just an elusive character like that. Sophia and our producer were just sort of hoping it really was legit and he would show up. So when I got there, it was like, I guess we're making this movie, or maybe not. But he definitely turned up because he's in the movie. This is the first year that I went to the Met Gala. I'm wearing Calvin Klein. I actually had just done an Eternity fragrance for them. And so that's why I was here with the house. This is a nice dress. I like it still. In my own life, I wear a lot of neutral colors. I wear a lot of plain clothing. I don't know, I guess when I'm on the red carpet, I'm more daring, I think, with the colors I wear just because it feels like, why not? I never was very fashion aware of all the whole fashion world. It was out of my kind of vision. I was probably just wow, very what is all of this, seeing all these fashion photographers and models and designers. It was this was a new world for me. This is my first Vogue cover. It was shot by Craig McDean. I don't know that you could say curvy and cool anymore. I don't think so. It's a dated copy. I loved these clothes. It was all these like kind of shapewear pieces that they had done with these like little kind of 1950s cut swimsuits and underpinnings and all that stuff. Being on the cover of Vogue was always something that like felt like a humongous accomplishment and a real honor. And it still feels like that, you know. That never goes away. Kind of feels like you made it, you know. This is Avengers, and I am in my Black Widow suit, and I'm for some reason looking at the ground while there's a massive explosion going off. That's how cool Natasha Romanoff is. There's a massive explosive moment happening in the background, but she's just like, what's that on the floor? I first found out I was cast as Black Widow about, I would say 6 weeks before the start of Iron Man 2. So yeah, a nice short period of time to get myself together. Some of the Black Widow costumes are incredibly uncomfortable and impractical. Some of them are better. I mean, it's evolved over, you know, over a decade of time. This suit actually was fairly comfortable. It was easy to get in and out of. Playing Natasha Romanoff has been like one of the greatest treasured experiences of my entire career. I love the character, I love my Marvel family. It's been a joy. Like every step of the way has been an absolute joy. And getting to go back to, you know, every year and a half or 2 years as we were making these films and like see everybody again. Everybody's lives had, you know, taken the next step, or people had kids or gotten married, or, you know, the whole crew all coming back together. It just was something I always like looked forward to. And I'm just incredibly proud of this chapter of my life, of my professional life. Oh, Barbara Sugarman. This was a project, Don John, that Joseph Gordon-Levitt wrote and directed. I based this character off one of the housewives of New Jersey. I won't tell you which one. I just was like, I know this person. I know what watch they wear. I know how their hair is styled, like the nail. I just was like, sign me up. Every part of working on Don John was fantastic, except for wearing acrylic nails. It was torturous. I couldn't do anything. They were painful. I was a whole world I'd never been privy to of like the fill and the thickness and the thinness. It was madness. I don't know how people do it, but I have a lot of respect for those people. This is in LA. It's the Women's March in LA. I'm wearing a Time's Up shirt. I remember I wrote a speech and I had cue cards because I'm old school like that. I have to have cue cards, physical cue cards. There was a microphone, but there was no microphone stand you had to hold, but I couldn't hold the cards in the microphone. Mila Kunis, who's lovely, got like alongside me and held my microphone for me while I read the cards, and that's the definition of sisterhood. You know, Time's Up was really, it was founded out of necessity. Started as a legal defense fund, and now it's so much more than that. It was like the beginning of the Me Too movement. People that are experiencing sexual harassment in the workplace, a lot of those people don't have the resources to defend themselves. That's why, you know, this like behavior, this toxic behavior is continued. It's a tremendous organization. And a ton of work. And I commend all of the women that work for Time's Up, because, you know, it really is like, it takes over your life. I know them, and you know, it's like the work-life balance is a lie, especially for women. And you know, it's just a very commendable thing to do, to dedicate your life to helping other people. Oh, this is Marriage Story. I guess I look particularly perplexed at this moment. My character is an actor. I dressed her a little bit like my sister. I wanted her to look approachable, like a mom, comfortable and warm. That's what I wanted her to look like. Shooting this movie was exhausting. Noah Baumbach, our director, is relentless, and in the best way. You know, it's through that work actually that I think you get like such good rawness. It was really one of like the best experiences I've ever had as an actor. I loved going to work every day. I was excited. This is the first time I was on the red carpet since the pandemic started. So it'd been like 2 years since I'd done a red carpet. I'm wearing Versace. I also had just announced the skincare line I'm working on, the Outset, and so very clean, beautiful, shimmering skin moment. Just wanted to kind of like let the dazzling corset and radiant skin shine. And that was the look here. And it was also a power suit moment because like, why not? I just had a baby. No, and I'm here with Colin. I forgot about him. He likes clothing. I mean, I wouldn't say he's like a fashion horse, but I like to shop for him. I love men's clothes. I much prefer men's clothes to women's clothes. I'd happily spend time looking for clothes for him way more than myself. This is a very sparkling moment. I am at the Kennedy Center Honors. I have never been to the Kennedy Center Honors before. I was going to do a piece for Bette Midler, which was very, very exciting. Just an amazing event. Someone came up to me. Of course, everybody's masked, so you can't, see anybody. You only see this much of their face. And he was like, "Hi, I'm such a fan of your work. It's so nice to meet you. I'm Smokey Robinson." And I was like, "What?" Oh my God. I mean, you just meet people it's like legends. I was like, "Oh yeah, I see those eyes, Yeah, it was awesome. I'm wearing Dolce & Gabbana, of course. Who else is using that many palettes? Believe it or not, I think like every woman there was wearing sequins. I thought to myself, I'm gonna wear something really like flashy and like, it's a really glitzy night, and I thought I'd really stand out, and then like the entire audience was wearing sequins. So I was on trend. I think I was kind of going for like early aughts makeup look. I mean, the dress is so much that like, kind of had to keep it, relatively subdued. My takeaway is that I feel more like myself like the older I get, and I think it's reflected in how I look throughout these photographs, and that's something that I feel very proud of. I'm happy to be in my later 30s. I feel most like myself, and yeah, I hope to continue to get to know myself better as I get older, and I think you'll probably hopefully see that reflected in my life in looks.